the chair of the Department of Homeland Security is en route to at least if congressional impeachment hearings. The Republican Party is in such disarray in the House that literally yesterday at one point, as I had mentioned was possible, maybe we can put this up, Jim McGovern made the claim, he is a congressman from the Worcester, Massachusetts area, in fact, also the chair, I think, of the House Rules Committee, made the claim that, in fact, at one point on the floor of the House, Democrats had a majority of people present on the House floor, and you can see there, Sahil Kapoor said that at Monday's House vote, Democrats were the majority, 201 to 198. And it's, I think, the next time that happens, I mean, it should have happened that time, but the next time that happens, there is no reason why the Democrats shouldn't be voting for a discharge petition. Only takes one person to raise it and then vote on it. And but in the meantime, this is going to, these type of numbers are why we may not see this impeachment actually hit the floor of the House. But make no mistake about it, the Republican Party has one agenda for this election at this point, and that is immigration, immigration, immigrants, immigrants, immigration, brown people, immigration, immigrants, brown people. And it really is just a matter of counting down until this that talking point infects the Taylor Swift talking point. It will get there. I promise you, folks. It will get there. We will find out that Taylor Swift is a secret immigrant, or that she is friends with an immigrant, or that Kelsey is an immigrant, or that he knows an immigrant. It will get there. They are working it into everything because that is the one thing that agitates, aside from Taylor Swift, their voters. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene on with Larry Kudlow, talking about the attack that took place in Jordan, the drone attack that killed 3 U.S. servicemen and injured, I think, close to 30 others. And here's Marjorie Taylor Greene managing to shoehorn, if you will, immigration into that situation.
Enforcing the law, but also breaking the public trust. I mean, that's a very important thing, breaking the public trust. Everybody knows there was a massive problem and breakdown, and Mayorkas and his boss, Biden, you know, presidents never lie, Marjorie. They just have cognitive dissonance, or they just have untruths. So we've been faced with this massive untruth for 3 years. Now it's time to take an accounting.
Well, they can't trick the American people, Larry, and you and I both know this is horrific. Month after month, it's another historic number of invasions. December was the highest number, but we can't watch Americans die every single day from fentanyl overdose and illegal alien crime. You know, it's members of Congress. We're the lawmakers, not the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And Secretary Mayorkas has taken it into his hands to make this border invasion possible. He's paroled illegal aliens en masse into the country. And here we have, you know, tragically, 3 members of the Georgia reserves killed in this awful attack that we've just learned about. You know, I think those reservists would rather be guarding our southern border and protecting our homeland than tragically getting killed because of Biden's weakness and horrific foreign policy that's led to this attack.
That's some like Andy Borowitz level, take column A and cross it with column B type of thing going on there.
Although that's a pretty good distillation of like isolationist foreign policy by Republicans, right? Where they don't, they don't. If you hear any critique about Biden's support for Israel's genocide, it's more just like about, well, we should be bombing Mexico instead, and we should be militarizing our border instead.
We've lost National Guards people trying to like save people from drowning in the Rio Grande. Those people also shouldn't be down at the border either to die there, whether it's Jordan or the Rio. Maybe the militarization isn't the key to solving these problems.
We are also on day now 5, I think, past the deadline where where federal border patrol people should be allowed into that park in Texas to pull down that razor wire. And as of yet, the Biden administration hasn't done anything. And, the bottom line is you've got the attempts of Senate Republicans to make this immigration deal as part of like the supplemental funding for Ukraine and Israel. And it is imploding under the weight of the desire of the Republicans not to have anything but a live issue. And this notion by Biden and the Democrats, where they think they're going to get some type of benefit from the idea that the Republicans are stopping this bill and won't take yes for an answer. This is simply not how the politics work in this, really in the past 20 years. You cannot meet the Republicans halfway or 3/4 of the way, or basically capitulate to their position and then whine that the Republicans won't say yes. They're better at this than the Democrats are. The Democrats need to stake out a position that is different from the Republicans, that actually brings these contrasts to light and support of the people who support them.
Right. I think if you were to ask the average person what the Democrats want to do with the border, there would be either no answer or a open borders situation. And then if you were to ask people what Republicans want to do on the border, they would be quite clear in their response: close it, stop the flow of immigrants.
Which Biden said he would do if he had the power to.
Right.
But you see, this is the problem, is that every time you talk about immigration as the president, if you do not have a fundamentally different view and position on this, all you're doing is you're playing into the Republicans' issue. If you say I'll tell you, this is the way that Barack Obama, people forget this, in the lead up to the Iowa primaries in 2008, Barack Obama simply had to say that there is a problem with Social Security. And he ended up winning I think it was the Iowa caucus. And it was after he didn't even give a solution necessarily. But as soon as you sort of acknowledge there's a problem, you won the argument, particularly if the Republicans are saying there's an invasion every day. Matt and I were talking about this yesterday. I'm sure you've experienced this, Emma. When you leave New York City and you talk to someone who is outside of New York City, the first thing they'll ask you often is how is it there?
Yeah.
With the whole immigration problem.
Right.
And the fact is, unless you provide as an alternate a fundamentally different vision of how we should deal with immigration in this country, all you're doing always at every juncture is playing into Republican hands on this. And the idea that the Republicans won't sign off on a bill because Donald Trump doesn't want to will get you 0 votes. Zero votes. Because if you complain that the Republicans are stopping you from fixing this problem, you have immediately just played into the hands of the Republicans who say that this is a massive problem.
It's the same thing with the budget. It's the same thing with the deficit. I mean, another Obama era example of like basically capitulating to that kind of pro-austerity framing, and then the attempts to do that
100%.
kind of grand bargain. The Obama was saved in many ways by the Republican extremism, but like that also hit him. That was a big part of the reason that Democrats didn't have more lasting electoral gains during the Obama years, was because of not providing any kind of counter narrative.